This is my first time coming to a conference like this one.
The overall experience, it seems very exciting to me.
The opportunities to learn and to network from inspirational people is next level. I mean, the speakers you guys have here are ridiculous.
Real leaders in the industry. It's such a high quality of different talks, different topics.
You're going to get a wide scope of opportunities, from new creative tactics to develop content to how to use AI.
It's a time for content marketers to recharge your creative batteries.
I learn new tricks, tactics, strategies, things that I integrate into my practice.
This event is really the only event that provides, 13 years later, the ability for content to be seen as a strategy.
Join us for Content Marketing World September 26th through the 29th in an all-new location in Washington, D.C.
Hello, everyone. It's Amanda with the Content Marketing Institute. Thank you so much for joining me for this Monday Ask the CM World Community live stream. We're back after Content Marketing World, which was awesome. If any of you joined us, I hope you had a great time and got some actionable takeaways from the event. I am super excited for today's live stream, which is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We are the leading training and education organization for all things content marketing. And because we are the leaders in content marketing, for the first time ever here at CMI, we produced a career and salary survey. We wanted to hear from you, the content marketers in the trenches, about how satisfied you are in your career, how much money you make, and so much more. So almost 1,200 of you content marketers shared some enlightening and in some cases eye-opening insight into your aspirations as content marketers and even how companies can help you succeed. So this report right here is coming out this Wednesday, October 5th, and you'll be able to find it at contentmarketinginstitute.com. Or if you subscribe to our emails, you won't miss it. We are very excited about the findings in this report. And some of them were mixed. There was some positive news, but also maybe some signs of turbulence, which I don't think is unexpected in our current career climate. So today we're going to dive into these findings with some members of our awesome CMI team here. So as always, as you join me for today, please give me a virtual wave, say hello, let me know where you're joining us from. Please ask questions, make comments. It makes for a more engaging live stream when we hear from all of you. We get tired of hearing ourselves talk, so we love to hear from all of you as well. So I'm going to kick off today's live stream by asking you the same question we asked some of our survey respondents. What do you love about working in content marketing? I also asked this question in our LinkedIn group, and here are some answers. Mariah says she loves the endless challenge to try new things. This is one industry where you can't set and forget your skills. Relentless change is the norm, and it's awesome. Here's what a survey respondent said. I love seeing all the pieces come together, how great words and innovative designs can affect and influence consumers and audiences. And I love working behind the scenes, getting to turn the cogs of the content machine. And one more, I can be creative while being tied to business impact. Content marketing offers fulfillment and growth of a creative career with stability and compensation of a corporate career. It's the best of both worlds. So please let me hear from you if you'd like to share them. I don't see that anyone's commented yet, but I see we have Andy, Jennifer, Tamara all joining us today. Thank you so much. Please share with us, and hopefully I'll be able to get your comments up as we go along here. All right. So what's it like working in content marketing? Is it a rewarding career? Does it pay well? What's a career path? You certainly know the personal answers to these questions, but until now, there's been very little research into content marketing careers. So we set out to find out the answers from content marketers like you, and we're releasing our findings in this new survey. So, all right, enough of me talking. Let me get to today's guest. We have joining us today Stephanie Stahl, our general manager of the Content Marketing Institute, and our chief strategy advisor, Robert Rose. Hello.
Hi.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Amanda.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Happy Monday.
I do have one response here. Tamara says she loves it. Credible find new ways to delivering content that converts through education, information, and entertainment. Love that one as well. Miranda says, I love feeling I am part of something bigger than my design and process. I think those are all sentiments from many. I know how powerful informing brand images. Tess says, I love how powerful content is informing a brand image and how easy it for a brand to solicit inquiries. All right, there we go. All right, let's get started here. Sorry, I'm like doing 3 different things at one time as I'm popping up here. All right, first of all, Stephanie, let's start. Why now? Why is it so important to start this career and salary survey to get this data and information for content marketers?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I through our own annual research, we know a lot about the business of content marketing. We know about budgets, we know about trends, we know about technologies that are needed. We know about priorities for enterprise companies and small businesses, and how that all helps businesses grow and succeed. But we wanted to take a more personal look, if you will, and find out what it's like to actually work in content marketing. So our head of research, the amazing Lisa Beats, put together a really great survey that looked at a few core things: work satisfaction, career development, and salary expectations. And the overall goal is sort of, two-pronged. It's really to help content marketers understand where they stand, sort of benchmark themselves against others and to see what's out there, but also to help the companies who hire them, these prospects, come up with really good opportunities and ways to engage professionals in content marketing and ensure that they are in for the long haul, that there's some loyalty there. So that's our goal.
And hopefully we have accomplished that when everyone takes a look at the research. All right, one of the main findings from the research is that the Great Resignation, quiet quitting, it doesn't look like that's over for content marketers. The majority of content marketers are either planning or looking for a new job or are unsure about this their future. So, Robert, is it safe to say that maybe we were a little surprised by this?
No, I don't know that we were that surprised by it, to be honest. Here's the thing. It's like, first of all, I could not be prouder of the team for putting this together. This is research that I have wanted to get insight on for years, and the fact that we've gotten it done is incredibly important, because one of the things that we notice so often is that there is this very obscure, unclear career path for content marketing in most businesses, right? So once you get beyond a certain level within a business, and it's usually a pretty junior level, manager, maybe senior manager level, you kind of matriculate either up or out. And when you go up, you typically don't go into a senior level. There just isn't a senior level content marketing role at these companies. And what we heard loud and clear in the survey results in this research is that they're either looking at it and saying, yes, I see a clear path for my career, but it's not with the company I'm with, or they say, yes or no, I don't see an actual clear path for me at this company. And so the fact that only 42% or 43% basically say, look, I'm convinced that I'm not going to be looking for a job next year, I think is striking. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're generally happy with what we do. We're generally feeling pretty good about it. But really, overall, it's a very, unclear time, broadly speaking, as you said, Great Resignation, quiet quitting, all the things that are happening. And you add on top of that sort of this, opaque sort of fog that we seem to be in about our career path. I think most businesses would benefit greatly from putting in career laddering and building in formal strategies and structures for content marketing and content strategy to become a senior level position in the organization.
So, and you noted that in your Content Marketing World keynote. So, how can they start doing that, getting better at creating this career pathing within their content marketing departments?
Yeah, I think one of the keys there is something that we've been obviously evangelizing for years, and it is something I did touch on in my keynote, which is you can't you can't create the career ladder without really doing the classic RACI work, sort of responsible, accountable, consulted, informed sort of framework around what each level does, what each level of that job does. And in order to do that, it requires that you actually have a process, an operational model, a governance model, and an actual, strategy that fits along with that. So the very first step is to figure out how content marketing becomes not just the on-demand vending machine of content for the business, but rather a discipline, a practice, and we just recognize it as such. The business has to recognize that content is an actual discipline with specialty skills and needs and training and the ability to at some point move beyond individual contributor to manager to team leader to visionary in the organization. Then we can start putting responsibilities to those levels. Then we can start building a career ladder to actually represent that. But until the organization sees content marketing as a true discipline, like marketing, like sales, like all the other things that have career ladders, we won't be able to build, you can't build the responsibilities until we actually identify the responsibilities.
If you're just joining us, I'm talking to Stephanie Stahl and Robert Rose with the Content Marketing Institute. We have a brand new salary and career survey coming out this Wednesday. So we're chatting about that today. And we don't always want to focus on the negative here. So I think it's important to point out that our study found that more than half, 56%, say they are very or extremely satisfied in their current position. Stephanie, what do you think of this?
Yeah, let's go with the glass half full right now. And I love some of these comments from Tess, from Miranda, from Dominique. They reflect a lot of what we saw in the report. And, many respondents told us that they love the creative side of this business. Regardless of where they sit, they love the fact that that is ultimately a creative career. They're motivated by the impact that their work has on their audiences and on their businesses as a whole. They loved storytelling. They love telling stories about brand purpose, for example. They love telling stories about innovation, maybe stories about great individuals or interesting people within their organization, or maybe it's a customer. But they like to tell stories that make a difference, or at least have a hand in telling those stories, whatever their role might be, whether it's in distribution, it's in the actual content creation, if it's in SEO, or however they touch the process. People like stories that make a difference. And, it's also one of these industries too, that if you like writing, great. If you like video, great. If you like live stream, like we're doing right now, fantastic. If you like podcasting, this is an industry that touches on so many different forms of media that it keeps that excitement alive, I think, for people that are part of content marketing.
Especially when you see what some of these companies are doing, like say Salesforce, for instance, like with their whole streaming side of it. Which Andy has a question, which that was my first thought was, are there any teams, going back to Robert's career pathing, companies that do this really well? I thought of Salesforce, like building a career path. Any others you can think of?
Well, Salesforce does it exceedingly well. I mean, they have, they've got a career path all the way up from junior level person up through senior VP. So they've really built content as a true structured discipline there, and it shows. By the way, it's one of the things that I touched on in my keynote is that the reason a Salesforce Plus can even exist is not because they're creating this amazing differentiated content. The programming itself right now is good, but it's not differentiated. It's stuff that you can find all around the internet. You know, their platform, yeah, anybody can launch a streaming network platform. The reason that a Salesforce Plus is differentiated and a true operation that can be used for competitive advantage is because they've built it as a discipline within Salesforce. They've recognized that content and acting like a media operation is a discipline, and they treat it like it. And that's, you know, that's one of the main reasons. So it's almost this, you know, sort of what, you know, chicken and egg thing, where what do you do first? Well, you've got to formalize the processes before you can create it repeatably and then actually succeed at it. And then I would point to also on the technology side, a company like Click, which is QLIK. Click, they're an analytics company, a smaller organization that actually has created a true small content marketing and content strategy operation and is doing very well with it. I would point to ServiceNow, which has recognized a couple of different content paths through the way they've got their marketing enablement and content path, and then they've got sort of their, I guess you'd call them brand journalists or experience creators, the ones that work on Workflow Quarterly, as you know, as also as a great model there.
All great examples, to check those out. All right, let's talk about money, right? CMI research shows that over half of content marketers, 52%, feel they should be paid more for what they do. Stephanie, I don't think that's a surprise, right?
Let's see. I make too much money, said no one ever, right?
Yeah.
So no surprise there. But I think it comes down to a workload issue. That's what we were hearing over and over again. The workload has become pretty extreme for some content marketers in large companies, small companies, also in agencies. You know, we see the same kinds of things within agencies. The need for more digital content or better digital content was certainly happening before the pandemic, and then that just accelerated it, right? But we were seeing those trends already, and we're also seeing that more companies appreciate the power of content marketing. So that has led to a bigger workload for existing staff or a need to hire more staff. I mean, we did hear that from a number of people at Content Marketing World, that they wish they could send more people, but they need people doing the work. You know, they're so busy, they actually need people back in the office doing the work. And the fact is, they wear a lot of hats, right? I mean, content marketers wear a lot of hats. We talk a little bit about in the report about something we call digital dexterity. And if anybody has it, it's them. And, you know, so I should also note that, you know, like, money isn't everything. There are also a number of things that we bring up in the report that are important to content marketers that could also help with the workload issue. So it's not all about the money, but that certainly is an important part of it. And some of you, when you see the report on Wednesday, you might think, you know, wow, that's the salary, you know, that's the median. Keep in mind, if you live in a city like San Francisco or London, or, you know, any big city where cost of living is higher, we would expect salaries to be higher there. We didn't really break it down by region like that. We probably will next year when we do the next version of this, but that's also something just to keep an eye out for.
All right, Lori says, my last company had a small budget, small marketing team, lack of leadership, high expectation, few resources. I think that's common for many people. So they decided building a team was not attainable, and they're going back to the agency, which is unfortunate, which we hope that we can help with our report, is convincing departments that they need to build a content marketing team, which, Robert, I guess that leads to my final question is, how do you hope this salary and career survey helps individual content marketers and, you know, moving the industry forward as a whole?
Well, I think, and it goes a little bit to the to Steph's comment about, I make too much money, said nobody ever, and which is one of the reasons I think we saw the results that we did with the specificity on how much people make is basically the result of the confusion that most organizations have about putting it into their system. So what tends to happen is that content marketers get lumped in with, other parts of marketing or PR or wherever wherever they're brought into the organization and wherever that sits, wherever that quote unquote function sits. And Lori brings up a great point, which is most companies will bring on individual contributors to be, the content marketing quote unquote team, and then really have them report in through any number of functions. I've seen it report through marketing. I've seen it report through sales. I've seen it report through finance, even in some cases. I've seen it report through PR and comms. And so depending on where content marketing as a function, and I'll use that word in quotes for a moment, is being brought in, it can be very difficult to get an apples to apples comparison, right? So what one company is looking at for content marketing versus another company looking at for content marketing. And it's because we haven't been able to create that standard, as it were, in terms of what it is that a content marketer does. And Lori brings up a great point, which is most organizations come in, there's a lack of leadership in terms of what content marketing actually is, and the resources for it are exceedingly small. And so it doesn't scale very well. And then people go, what we need is more digital assets. We need more production. We need more stuff. Great, let's go hire an agency. And then the agency doesn't have that figured out quite yet either. So I think we're getting progress. Where we're seeing companies that have success is in how they treat these and standardize an actual function, right? Separate from marketing or separate from PR or integrated into those things. Then say, great, now this is where content marketing sits in our organization, and here's the salary bandwidth, and here's where we're going to, senior level, senior manager, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we'll start to see a little more, I guess, common strata for the different salary bands that we would see against the title. But I think that progress is hopefully something that this study accelerates, right? This is the kind of thing that you go, here, we can start to use this as a standard and say, we can improve on this if we're in a different region or we have a different take on content marketing or our strategy is slightly different. But it starts to provide the foundational elements for us to say, it does exist. It is a thing. And people are really doing this as a standard function in business. So let's use this as a starting point for us to build our foundation.
Going back to what you said about agencies, Tess says, it's funny, Lori, agencies are understaffed too. They just haven't figured out a way to give you a little bit of everything. So the grass is not always greener, right? All right. So we have so many more great findings in this report right here. So including the median pay for a content marketer and which generation is making the most, which I was a little bit surprised by, and advice for companies looking to hire top content marketing talent, and so much more. So again, that's coming out this Wednesday, October 5th. You can head over to contentmarketinginstitute.com and you'll be able to find it there. Or if you subscribe to our newsletters, we'll be sending it out there as well. Stephanie, Robert, thank you both so much for joining me today for this live stream. Thank you to all of you who participated in the discussion and left your comments. We really appreciate it. So until next time, I will see you for Ask the CM World Community live stream. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Amanda.